Now let's dive deep into this big LGBT story for today. I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up politics. In a scene reminiscent of 1939 Nazi Germany, FBI paints over diversity wall over Trump crackdown. The FBI has painted over a wall listing its core values, including diversity, following President Trump's sweeping rollback on diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI programs. Shortly after taking office, Trump ordered federal DEI employees to take forced paid leave. He said his goal was to, quote, end the onslaught of useless and overpaid DEI activists buried in the federal workforce, end quote. A photo obtained by CNN reportedly shows a mural at the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia, being painted over, covering words like diversity, fairness, and integrity. The FBI confirmed it removed diversity from its core values to comply with the new Trump-Vance directive. Meanwhile, government employees were also ordered to remove pronouns from their email signatures under Trump's Restoring the Biological Truth order, which declares only two sexes, male and female. He also blamed DEI initiatives for the recent Washington, D.C. plane crash. He has since rolled back workplace discrimination protections and banned trans people from the military service. LGBTQ advocates fear that these moves will erase decades of progress. Critics call it a direct attack on marginalized communities, while supporters claim it's a return to traditional values. But activists say they see a parallel between 1939 Nazi Germany and 2025 America. In 1939 Germany, under Hitler, the state attempted to control and erase marginalized identities and ideologies that did not fit the regime's vision, just like Trump 2.0. Well, there's a lot I know we're going to say about this. And, we need to be strong, but certainly we need to question leadership, but stay united. I mean, eliminating diversity, well then, you're looking to have uniformity, parallel to the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. If you eliminate fairness, then it's inequity, and it just says what it is. If you eliminate integrity, well, then it's dishonesty, and I think we know who we're dealing with. So we need to be strong. We need to boost our leadership, no matter what you think. I would love to see someone like a Pete Buttigieg rise up and get more people, but also help mentor those of us in the community who have the potential to be leaders, to be able to speak strongly. When I see Buttigieg speak on Fox, he tears them a new one.
Yes, he does.
And I would love to be able to do that myself, and not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
But it's empowering to know that we have people in our community. In the past, I've talked about folks using us finding people in our communities or allies who have the intelligence to deal with the AI issues, artificial intelligence, to work around all the lunacy that Trump is allowing, and he's really asleep at the wheel. He's only after one thing, and that's greed and power and, being a figurehead. But please, what do you think?
I don't know why painting over this wall affects me so much. Like just seeing it, it's not even done, but it affects me. Like words like that will not exist anymore, right? Which of course they will, but I mean, fairness, right? Compassion, stability, leadership. These are things that we all expect from our government. We all expect from organizations like the FBI. And now folks that have studied and gone to school and made being an FBI agent their career now have to think, okay, do I kiss the ring or do I lose my job?
Yes.
Right? I don't know. There were countless FBI agents who were investigating Trump on his 35 felonies, who also got walked off the job and said bye-bye.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do in that aspect? All right. Me and Trini were talking before the show. Every day and twice on Sunday, we're bombarded with stuff that Trump is doing against us. If you miss a day, you missed out on who he's trying to take down today.
But there's nothing subtle about this Nazism that's on display, whether it's Trump's ongoing outreach to white supremacists or Musk's Nazi salute. The rise of the Fourth Reich, also known as the Heritage Foundation, has begun, and we really should all be terrified, but it should also scare us into action. That's the thing.
I, like Bobby, do still have faith in our country. I do think that they're going to see what is happening. There's going to be enough of us sounding the alarm that they will realize partially what they did, at least hopefully for the midterms, if not the midterms for, after Trump's presidency. There were so many elements in that news piece. So when we talked about trans people in the bathrooms and two sexes,
Yes.
okay, great. I think a great resistance would be all you masculine trans men out there, go into those bathrooms, those female bathrooms, and when a whole bunch of women are like, okay, these are dudes that are in my bathroom, I don't want this, I don't like this anymore, then maybe you'll have a little change of heart when you see a whole bunch of guys that look like,
Like
you know,
you.
yeah, exactly.
Can I say that to that point? I've seen that point being made on social media, and it's a really valid point. Let's just be cautious of all that entails. If a right-wing woman sees a trans man in their personal space, that could just contribute to the argument of they are
Grooming us,
sexual molesters, sexually attacking us. Yeah. So I do understand the point. The point is a trans woman is a woman, so let the woman use the woman's restroom and do not put trans women in men's spaces because you don't know what's going to happen. I understand the lightheartedness of that point, but there's also, unfortunately, a heaviness to it. If a trans woman is in a solitary male space where there typically isn't any other supervision, what's going to happen to that trans woman? If a trans man is in a woman's space, what is a woman going to say that trans man did without any proper video documentation? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So
and God forbid there's a kid in the bathroom.
Hello.
Then forget it.
That is a valid point, and I see where you're coming from.
My point is that it's one-sided.
Yeah.
Is that they only care about a trans woman being in a women's bathroom, and by making this executive order so that happening there, you are then making something else happen that they don't like either, which is somebody who is male presenting, who is maybe biologically female, that is in that space, that would have to go into that space because of what is on your ID. Yeah. So that's just something that a lot of people don't think about. They're only seeing drag queens and men in that situation. So there's that, and I forgot what my other point was, but go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to say, to complement what's going around the table, in addition to Trump saying that, declaring there's only two sexes, you have to look at not only how people identify, but you also have to look at the history of gender identification going back to, the ancient tribes of indigenous people of the Americas and around the world. And to lock it in.
It has been around forever. Ever. It's not new. We didn't invent it. Oh, you LGBTQ people, you just want to add more letters and invent new stuff.
That's right.
No.
And then the other thing is, biologically, there are people who are born intersex.
Yes.
And, I guess, Trump and his cronies didn't take science courses. I mean,
they obviously did.
So this was the thing, and I know this is an unpopular take.
But I have to cut this short. So
okay.
Please make it short.
Short.
Okay.
Is that I think what people who are more on the right, they just want to have validation that their viewpoint on sex, male and female, that their version they have words for that, right? And I think that we should have sex being male, female, intersex. Yes, that occurs, but it's a very, very small percentage of the population.
Well, it exists.
And then
it happens.
It does happen. And then gender is your own personal expression, which really doesn't have to be quantified in 80 different categories. So I think that we do need to have a difference between gender and sex when it comes to government documentation. And I think that would help solve the issue of bridging these two groups together.
Got you. Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.